Volcano Princess is the new hit indie game that graced us with its release at the end of the last month. I was actually very hesitant about reviewing this game because one playthrough is not nearly enough to see everything that the game has to offer. But ultimately I've decided that I'd really like to talk about it anyway, so I hope you're interested in what I have to say about it. Just from looking at pictures, you may conclude that this game is some sort of a visual novel or JRPG, but you would be wrong about that. This is instead a resource management game with a lot of story parts, which is a pretty neat combination. The story goes as follows: you're a single father and your goal is to raise your daughter as competently as you can. That's how the game starts at least, but as your daughter hits a certain age, you start playing as her instead for the most part. But the goal remains the same. With your actions, choices of studies and friendships, you try to sculpt an independent grown-up with a set of goals, morals and a profession. How do you do that? Well, the gameplay loop is simple. You start each month with a set of action points that you can do during each month. Think of them as energy in mobile games. You can replenish these action points by eating or sleeping, and each action point costs a different value of points. Apart from these actions, you can also talk to people in town, challenge them to debates or duels, consult with them, give them gifts, and hang out with them, which can lead to romance if you wanted to. The option to chat is free, so you can talk to everyone without expending any additional resources, which also builds friendships. The other options, that are more complex than a few bubbles of text, can be done 3 times each month. Interactions with people don't expend action points and are a system of their own. As for the action points, you expend them on things that will help you in your future profession by gaining knowledge about a particular subject. If you're a warrior, you might want to explore the Dark Forest and battle monsters, or the Dark Alley and battle criminals and bandits. If you're into art, you might want to consider acting in theater or attend balls. You might also try gardening, horse racing, fishing, cooking, painting, working in a bathhouse, and much more. Many of these options have a completely separate system that works differently from the rest of the game. Some are better, some are worse. It's for you to decide what's fun for you or what you expect of your daughter to achieve. I personally really like the combat in the Dark Forest. It's simple JRPG combat, but you need to explore the whole level with a single health bar. And each turn you can expend just as many actions as your energy allows, regardless of how many companions you brought with you. So you need to think a little, and there's a surprising amount of depth here. But I'm not going to get into too much detail here. In fact, I'm not going to describe any other of these actions further because that would take a while. Just know that none of them are very good on their own, but when you combine all of them, there's a lot of variety and fun to be had. Naturally, this game wouldn't be very good if that was all there was to it. Many scripted events happen and progress the narrative. Most of these events, like festivals, always happen no matter what, but many story segments are reserved only for one of the 3 paths that you take at one point in the game. That point is choosing a mentor, each representing a different attribute: strength, mind, and charisma. If you've been looking closely at the gameplay footage, you'll see them in the bottom left corner of your screen alongside your class grades in strength, intelligence, emotion, and imagination. You advance your grades by taking classes that you plan out at the end of each month, and those affect what career choices you're presented with at the end of the game. This game has 58 different endings in terms of career path, and not all career paths are good. There's a system in the game that tracks the darkness in the heart of your daughter. Some activities advance the darkness, but you can always pray in the church if it gets out of hand. But it's not game over if the darkness wins her heart. Quite the opposite. You simply get one of the evil endings, which sounds like a lot of fun. Haven't tried it yet, which is why one of the reasons why I was reluctant about making this review. I've also chosen only one mentor so far, so I can't speak much about other completely different ways in which the story can progress. One playthrough lasts around 10 hours, and I haven't yet decided to replay the game to see all the other endings. But it's very apparent how much replayability this game has. Apart from the career choice, the ending also features some major decisions that you make in the story, as well as choosing your romantic partner. And there are really so many possibilities here. What if you just ignore all classes and all characters and just advance the game? Do you get the ending in which your daughter is a complete nobody? As I said, I haven't been able to see everything this game has to offer, but it's got a whole lot to offer. Now let's talk about some negatives. The game in general is a little bit janky, but I don't mind it personally since it adds to the charm a bit. But it might be a turn-off for you. Currently there are some bugs present. None that would make you unable to progress further, though at the time of playing, there was a bug like that in one of the patches, but it's been fixed. The English in-game text is low in quality. And it's fine grammatically, but there are so many writing errors. It seems nobody proofread this game, and that fact might dampen your experience. It's a bit distracting, but it can be ignored for the most part. It's not something that should keep you away from playing the game. Aside from that, the game has two voiceovers, one in Chinese and one in Japanese. I can't comment too much about its quality as I'm not a native speaker, but the Japanese version that I played sounds pretty good to me. In conclusion, the game is certainly not for everyone, but the glowing reviews and the fact that there was a 30k player peak on Steam at one point should give you a hint about how much other people love this game. And that includes me. I really like the idea of this game, and while the execution might not be perfect, it's clear how much love was put into making this game. Did I mention how good the art is? If you like the idea of this game, try it. And for only 10 euros, it's a bargain seeing how much content there is. That's it for this video, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.